Hi everyone, welcome to day 18 of our FCHS Fitness Challenge. Today we're going to do another strength training workout. We're going to work the muscles we didn't get a chance to do on Monday. So that'll be our back, our biceps, and kind of like the back of our shoulders. So we will hit shoulders again, just in a different area. So we're going to be back on the floor for this one for the most part. You'll have the option to stand towards the end. But all I have today is a mat and some weights. If you want water, make sure you bring water too. All right, so we're gonna start by lying down, just like we did the other day. Okay, so we're gonna be down on our back. We'll have the feet planted on the floor, just for a little extra support. I'm gonna grab my weights. Probably should have did that before I lay down. That's okay. We're gonna start, our first one's called a pullover. So it's a little like our overhead tricep extension. So we're gonna have the same starting position with the arms straight above us with the palms facing each other. But instead of bending at the elbow, we're gonna lower our arms and we're gonna move up the shoulder joints. So those arms are gonna stay nice and straight. You're gonna feel a nice stretch in your back. And then we're gonna pull them back up towards the chest again. Okay, so those arms are staying nice and straight. The work is all coming from your back. And wherever your range of motion is fine. Some of us have tighter shoulders. You might only get about here. That's okay. Some of us might be able to go all the way towards the floor. You might get a little more on each rep. We're going to stick with our 12 repetitions. Okay, this will be the partner workout for the one that we did the other day. So we'll do the same thing, 2 sets for 12 repetitions each. Okay. Nice and slow, keep that lower back planted to the floor. Okay, if it's rising, your weights might be a little too heavy. Let's go for 2 more. And last one. We'll go down, come back up, and then let those weights rest. And we'll take a few seconds just to recover a little bit. You can reposition yourself on your mat if you were wiggling a little bit. I feel like every time I do a set, I have to adjust when I'm done. Okay, and you can take as long as you need. All right, if you need to pause the video and take a longer break, feel free. All right, if you're ready to go again, we're gonna raise those weights up towards the ceiling. And we're just gonna let those arms fall towards the back of our mat. Nice outstretched hands, and we'll pull them back up to the starting position. So you really should feel a lot of that upper back working. Maybe a little towards the middle. The lower back just kind of gets to chill out in this one. We're on 6 if you're following right along with me. If you're going at your own pace, you can take a rest at 12, or you can even go up to 15 if you're feeling good today. I'm gonna go for 2 more here, nice and slow, really make those muscles work. And especially if you have no weights or lighter weights, sometimes you can get just as good a workout as you would from heavier resistance just by slowing down that motion and really making those muscles work. All right, you can bring those weights down. We're gonna move on to our next exercise. So we're gonna flip over on our mat here. We're gonna come up to all 4s. So if you regularly do yoga, we're gonna do this nice tabletop position. Okay, so we want a nice flat back, like you could stack a bunch of books on it. All right. We're gonna have our weights again here. There's gonna be 2 options for this because this exercise can be a little rough on the wrists. So if your wrists are getting a little cranky, I suggest doing this one without weights. If you feel okay, we're gonna grab the weights. Okay, I'm gonna have them like this, and we're gonna roll the weight up right about to our rib cage here. We're gonna keep that elbow nice and pulled in, really you wanna feel this part of the back light up, okay? And then we're gonna alternate arms. So we're really only gonna do 6 on each side here because this can be a tough one. You're gonna get a lot of core. Those shoulders are gonna have to work to keep you propped upright. And the trick with this is we wanna keep those hips square. We don't want them rocking and rocking. Sometimes they'll rock because we're kind of uneven on the limbs. So keep nice and controlled. All right, widen those knees a little bit if you need to. Stay nice and stable. If the wrists don't like to be up on the weights, I know a lot of times if I'm doing this exercise on my toes, I'll keep my hands on the mat and I'll grab the weight, lower it, put the hand back on the mat, grab the weight, lower it, okay? All right, let's do one more on each side here. I guess we'll have to be even. So we're gonna do one more on the right. And we're gonna do one more on the left. And we'll put those weights down. We'll take a rest. And shake out those wrists, do some wrist circles. All right, go both directions. You can flip those hands up and down, nice stretch. Feel like I need it right there in that back of the wrist. You can wave them a little bit. Do whatever feels good. Let them get nice and loose again. We only have one more set of that one. All right, so we're gonna come back to our tabletop position. Gonna put the knees right under the hips, nice and square, really get situated there. Make sure the core is engaged. All right, and then once you're ready, we're gonna lift that right one up, row it up. Keep those elbows close. All right, they tend to want to splay out as we get tired. And then we're not really using our back to lift the weight anymore. So you really want to make sure that that upper body is staying engaged. Okay. Remember to breathe. And only one more on each side here. Okay. Now we'll lower those weights down. We're just gonna come to a seated position on the mat, whatever feels comfortable. You can also stand for these next few exercises if you would rather stand, all right? Sometimes it's nice to just sit. So our next one, if you want, you can shake out your wrists while I explain the next one. Our next one, we're gonna go towards a bicep curl. So we're gonna have the arms kind of off to the sides here. It's gonna be a little different than the curls I've had you do in the past. So just have your arms kind of on the outside of your legs if you're sitting in like a cross-legged position, or even if you're sitting like this, they're gonna come out just to the sides like this, okay? We're gonna curl those weights towards the shoulders, so kind of feel like they're coming out a little bit towards the sides versus that straight line that we've done in the past. So you might feel this one, still feel it in the biceps, we'll still feel in the front of the arm, but you might feel it a little higher in some slightly different areas than we do on our traditional bicep curl. Okay. So that's the really cool thing about strength training. A lot of the times we can change how things feel or what muscles are being worked the most just by switching the hand position a little bit. Okay. Keep those shoulders nice and calm, okay? If they start to creep up a little bit like this, just try to relax them. If you can't relax them, just take a rest break. Okay, we're gonna go for one more. We'll lower those weights. And we'll rest for a second, or 2 or 5, and then we'll do another set. All right, let's bring those palms out. So they'll be up towards the ceiling to start. Then we're gonna curl those weights up all the way to the shoulders and slowly back down. Don't let gravity take those weights back down. You want to kind of fight gravity on the way down. Really activate that muscle. Okay, we're halfway through. We're going to try for 6 more. And last one here, all the way up to the shoulders, and we'll go back down. All right, our next one, we have 2 options. So we're gonna do a wrist curl, okay? So we're gonna have the palms outstretched like this towards the ceiling again. We're just gonna curl those wrists up and back down. So you'll have the back of the wrist just hanging off the knee, okay? So that'll kind of support it. If you want to try with weights, you're more than welcome to. Just know that this can be a hard exercise. Those wrists are tiny, right? There's tiny little muscles and tendons that go through there. So takes a lot of forearm strength to kind of get these weights up. All right, so if your wrist hurts with the weights, just put them down and get that same motion in, okay? We're 2 in. We're gonna go for 12. Let's see how you feel around 8. And you might feel this in the upper arm too. All right, the bicep is working a little bit in this exercise. You'll primarily feel the forearm. We'll get some good work just for those wrists, kind of strengthen that grip strength a little bit. Let's go for 2 more. And we'll do 1 here. We'll put the weights down, we'll rest. Do some wrist circles. Lots of wrist circles today. You guys are all like, I thought this was a back workout. All right. We'll grab those weights again if we want to use them. And we'll just balance the back of the wrist on that knee and curl them up and down. So it doesn't have to be a really large range of motion, okay? Just seeing where they go. We're gonna go for 4 more. And last one here for 12. All right, we're gonna move into our shoulders. So like I said, we're gonna work more the back of our shoulders. We'll feel that trapezius muscle light up, some of those muscles in the back of our neck. So that's always important to work too. A lot of times we just think about the front of our shoulders and we don't always remember that there's 2 parts, right? Shoulders do a lot of different things. So there's a lot of different muscles that work in that area. So for our first one, we're gonna do a type of like rear delt fly here. So you have 2 options. If you're gonna stay seated, we're just gonna lean forward a little bit, hinging at that hip. Okay, if you're standing, you're gonna get down in that bent over row position that we've done in the past. So you still want that nice hinging kind of motion there, right? So we're gonna start with the weights tucked in real close to the sides here. Just gonna lean forward a little bit. I still need space for my weights to get out. And we're just gonna bring those weights up. Okay, squeeze those shoulder blades together. I know you can't see it because I'm facing you, but really squeeze, and then we're gonna lower those weights back down. And we'll squeeze, go back down. If you're sitting cross-legged like me, you might not get the largest range of motion, but that's okay. You'll still feel it in the back, I promise, in those shoulder blades. If the weights get too heavy, just drop them. When we do the backs of our shoulders, they can be very intense sometimes, especially if we hold a lot of our stress in the shoulder blades. So we're gonna go for 2 more here. Last one. And drop those weights, just sit straight up for a minute, let that low back release. Okay, you can massage it a little bit if you need to. You can wiggle around if that feels good. Shoulder rolls. I like active rest. If you guys haven't noticed that, I'm always moving. All right, you can also just sit still and do some meditation, whatever works for you. Okay, you got 1 more set of these and then just 1 more exercise. So we're getting towards the end here. Let's put those elbows nice close back to the ribs, and we'll just bring those arms out, kind of like we have wings. Okay. Right, we're already on 6. Two more. And 12. Okay. Our last one, we're going to do some Ys. So I suggest doing at least the first set without weights, just see how it feels. If it's really, really easy and you want to use weights for the second one, feel free. We're going to start with those palms together right in front of us. Just going to bring those arms up in a nice Y. We'll feel the back of the neck having to work, and we'll come back down, right? So this will work that same area. We've done this kind of as a warm-up exercise, but we can also do it as part of our strength training as well. This can be a good exercise to do with resistance bands if you have those. Right, keep that back nice and tall. Whether you're standing or seated, don't slump. We're gonna go for 1 more, and we'll come down and we'll rest. If you wanna try some resistance on the second one, I will warn you ahead of time, I will not get past like 5 with weights, but we can give it a shot. All right. So we're gonna start with that same position. The palms will be facing each other. You'll have the weights right there in the middle. You're gonna pull those weights apart and make that Y. Make sure you can stay nice and tall, okay? Make sure that that core is engaged. A lot of times, if people do this with weights that are too heavy, on the way back, you'll come backwards to lift those weights up, and then you kind of let momentum bring them forward. Stay in this nice tall position, okay? And if you can't control the weights, then put them down. Okay. I'm gonna call this 7. And then I'm done with the weights. 8. Ooh, 9. And that's what it looks like when you wear all your stress in the back of your shoulders. Exercise can be very difficult. Last one here, come up in a nice Y and back down. Okay, so those are all of our exercises for this video. Make sure you stretch after, get some shoulder stretching in, do whatever feels good for you. All right, and I will see you all tomorrow for another video. We'll have fun again. Have a good day. Bye.